Hi everyone, we're going to find the partial fraction decomposition. In this case we have an irreducible quadratic here, and we have a repeated linear. So I set my equation up to satisfy the fact that this could be the denominator here. If you combine that, our LCD would be here, our least common denominator. So that's how you set it up, and you want proper rationals. So you want a linear, just in case, a linear on top of a quadratic and a constant on top of the linear factors. So the first thing we're going to do is clear the fractions by multiplying each side of the equation by your LCD. In this case, these cancel, so you get 10x squared plus 2x here. This will cancel, and you're left with a times, there's one of these, you just have one left. This will be x squared plus 2. And for the b, this will cancel this, so you're just left with b times x squared plus 2. And this whole thing cancels with that, so you're left with plus c times x minus 1 squared. Now the first thing I'm going to do is let x equals 1. And why am I going to do that? And that's because if I plug in 1 here and 1 here, this gives me a 0. This is going to give me a 0. So this basically knocks that out. The 0 times c is just 0. And I can solve for b. So I'm going to plug in 1 everywhere there's an x. And I'm just going to do that because we already know this is going to be 0. So we have b times 1 squared plus 2. So this is going to be 12 on this side, 3b here. So my b equals 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So now all I have to do is find a, c, and d, and we are going to have to use a system of linear equations. So the first thing I'm going to do is let x equals 0. That's always a safe bet. And just plug it in. So you have 10 times 0 squared plus 2 times 0 equals a times 0 minus 1 times 0 squared plus 2. And then we have plus our b, and it's going to be 0 squared plus 2, and then plus c times 0 plus d times negative, or 0 minus 1 squared. Now let's simplify all this. This side right here is just going to be 0. This is 2. This is just negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 is going to be negative 2a, sorry. And then we have plus, that goes away, so that's going to be plus 2b. And this is 1, so that just goes away. So we're just going to get plus d, because c times 0 is just 0. All right. Now what I want to do is I have my b. My b equals 4 from the previous slide. So I'm going to plug that in. And then subtract, where I'll just move these two over. So I get 2a minus d equals 8. Also can write this as d. Move the d over here. I get 2a minus 8, because we're going to use this in just a minute. All right, next we are going to let x equals negative 1. If we have x equals negative 1, we're going to get 10 times negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 equals a times negative 1 minus 1 times negative 1 squared plus 2, right, plus b times negative 1 squared plus 2. Then we have plus c times negative 1 plus d times negative 1 minus 1 squared. All right, so let's simplify all this. We're going to get, this is 10 minus 2, that's going to be 8. Here we have 1 plus 2, this is 3, times negative 2 is negative 6. So we get negative 6a, this is negative 2. Here this is going to be 3, so we're going to get plus 3b. Now this is going to be a 4. Negative 2 squared is 4. So that's going to be minus 4c, because that's negative, plus 4d. Now what I want to do is plug in my d. So, or my b. My b was, let's see, what was my b? My b was 4, so let's write that down. My b is 4, so plug in your b, and when you do that, you're going to get 8 equals negative 6a, and then times 4, so it's plus 12, minus 4c plus 4d. So I subtract the 12, I get negative 4. Equals negative 6a minus 4c plus 4d. All right, so that's that one. All right, now one more time, because we have 4 variables, we have to solve for a, b, and c. So now let's let x equal 2. Then we have 10 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2. All right, equals a times 2 minus 1 times 2 squared plus 2 plus b times 2 squared plus 2. I'm going to forget my b equals 4 here, so I don't have to go back. Okay, plus c times 2 plus d times 2 minus 1 squared. This makes it a little easier. This will be 40 here plus 4, so that's 44. This is nice. This is just 1, and that's just 1. So now this is, that's why I picked 2. So 2 squared is 4, so it's going to be 6a. And then we have another 4 plus 2 is 6, 6b. That's just 1, so we have plus 2c plus d. Now, again, I'm going to plug in for my b. My b was 4. And that's going to be 24. So this right here is just going to be 4 times 6, which is 24. Subtract the 24, and you're going to get 20 equals 6a plus 2c plus d. Now I have my system of linear equations. All right, so the first thing we have is b equals 2a minus 8. That was from the first one we did. We also have negative 6a minus 4c plus 4d equals negative 4. We also have negative 6a minus 4c plus 4. Now, for my d, I'm going to plug my d in. So my d is 2a minus 8. And we go back to equals negative 4. All right, so what I want to do here is simplify this one. So we're going to get negative 6a minus 4c plus 8a minus 32 equals negative 4. So combine my a's here. I'm going to get 2a minus 4c equals, I'm going to add the 32 and you get 28. I'm going to go ahead and solve for a. If you solve for a, you're going to get 2a equals 28. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce everything by 2. If you reduce everything by 2, you get a minus 2c equals 14. So we have this one. All right? Now what we want to do is take our 6a plus 2c plus d equals 20. And I'm going to plug in my d. So we have 6a plus 2c, and my d that we had before is 2a minus 8. And this is going to equal 20. So solve for this, you get 6a plus 2c plus 2a minus 8 equals 20. And you combine this, you're going to get 8a plus 2c, and I'm going to add the 8 to both sides, so you're going to get equals 28. Now we're going to add all the equations above and solve. So the first thing we're going to do is take a minus 2c equals 14, and 8a plus 2c equals 28. And add, because I want these to be the same so the c's cancel. When you add, you get 9a equals 42. And so a equals 42 over 9, which equals 14 over 3. All right? Now we have 2c equals a minus 14. So 2c equals, my a is this, so we have 14 over 3 minus 14. And so that equals negative 28 over 3. And also divide both sides by 2. So my c equals negative 28 over 6, which equals negative 14 over 3. And finally, we have d equals 2a minus 8. So d, we have our a now, which is 14 over 3, minus 8, which equals 4/3. So now that we have everything, we can write everything out. We have 10x squared plus 2x over x minus 1 squared, x squared plus 2 equals my a, which is 14 over 3. There's my a, over x minus 1, plus my b, which was 4. That was the first one we got. X minus 1 squared, plus my c, which is negative 14 over 3, x plus 4/3 divided by x squared plus 2. Boy, that was a doozy. All right. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.